I don't know if you're like me, but you go out to a restaurant and those steak dinners are so expensive, and you end up getting a steak that is way too big for what you want anyhow. Let me show you how to do that at home and save yourself some money and have a much better meal. A complete steak dinner, better than a restaurant and much cheaper. Big old ribeye steak, sauteed onions, asparagus with garlic butter sauce, and mashed sweet potato. Perfectly tender, delicious. Love me some onions. And gonna get me some of that sweet potato. That is some good stuff. Okay, I'm starting off here with my pan, about a half a yellow onion I've cut up. Got a pretty high flame on here. Now I've put a little bit of olive oil in here just to get things going. What I'm looking for is I want to soften these, and you don't want to cook these too fast because you'll burn them. So I've got it a little bit high right now, but as they start the cooking process, I'm going to slow it down so that we don't overcook these onions and end up with burnt onions. Burnt and sauteed onions, well, they're two different things. You don't want burnt. Now what I like to do is when they start cooking like this, I like to add a little bit of water. That's what I'm doing right here. And that kind of helps them steam a little bit and lets them keep cooking without burning. And I just add a little bit at a time, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons to this, and let it cook down, let that moisture cook out. That way I don't burn them. But you'll see them over time, they're going to get a little bit darker and a little bit darker, and they're going to get more and more flavorful. And this brings out all the natural sugars too, so they end up getting a whole lot sweeter. There's some good onions, I'm telling you. You're really going to like this. Now here they are after I've been doing it a little bit longer. Now you start to see that little char there on the edge? Like that little char, that's what we're looking for. We want to start getting that little bit of char there so that we can saute these down and they're going to have a sweet flavor without burning. Okay, so we want to get that little bit of char, and I'm going to keep cooking them. This takes a little bit of time to do it properly, but man, is it worth it. I'm telling you, these onions are going to be so good on that steak. You're going to see, you're going to love it. Now, I started off with some asparagus. I've already broken off the bottom half. A lot of people will tend to cut these. You don't really need to. I left this one a little bit long so I could show you. But see that little part that breaks off? It will naturally break off right where it should. There's another one right there. And I've already done all the rest of these, but it will just naturally break where it should. So you don't have to worry about cutting it. And they all end up about the same size. If they grow together, they all end up the same size. So I'm gonna put them in a pan here, and I'm gonna put them on the oven, probably medium-high heat, and I'm going to get my sweet potato I had in the oven. I had this in there at about 400 degrees for about an hour now, but this is a big sweet potato. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a fork in it, and it should just easily come in and out. And let's see what we got here. It's a little bit firm yet, so I'm going to stick it back in. I would think probably another 30 minutes would do it. Now, I've taken it out after another 30 minutes. And we'll try it again. Ooh, it's hot, it's hot. Okay, get that fork out again, and now it just slides in and out really easy. Okay, super soft now. It's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna package it back up, put it in the oven at about 170 degrees, just keep it warm. Here's the steak we're working with. £1.25 steak, got it on sale for $8 a pound, which is amazing. So for under 10 bucks, I've got this £1.25 steak, got that nice rib cap on there. I love that. Let's cut this open and get in here and check this steak out. Every now and then our grocery store has some really good deals on steaks, and I take advantage of that and make me some good steak dinners. So let's check this out here. Now it's got a little fat here I'm probably going to take off, but you can see it's pretty marbled. I mean, this is not a prime steak, but I tell you what, it's got some really good marbling in it, and that is the thing that's going to make this steak so tender and delicious. You want to take it out probably about an hour before you cook it so it gets to room temperature. Now my wife, she likes not much fat on her steak, so I'm going to cut out this little portion right here, and that's going to become her steak right there. So let me slice out this section here. We could both eat off this. I mean, this is a £1.25 steak, guys. You know, you only need but so much food in you. So I'm going to cut off this little bit of fat right here. Don't cut towards your hand. I have no idea why I did that, but I'm sitting there cutting towards my hand. I'm going, this is not good. I can't do that. So you don't want to cut towards our hand. Okay, keep your hand out of the way. Now what I've done is I cut this, so now I've got actually 2 steaks. Now, yeah, mine's a little bigger, but it's got a bone. It's got a bone in there. But I need to hold this together on the grill or it's going to flop all over the place. So what I like to do is kind of pin it up And what I use for this is some toothpicks. And if you stick the toothpicks all the way in, you don't have to worry about them burning or anything like that. And it will hold the steak together naturally, and you don't have to worry about it. So here's my toothpicks right here. I'm gonna stick one here in at an angle, and you just find, you know, kind of a soft spot that it'll stick in there. And I like to put several in there in different places. Hit the bone there. Let me get around here where I'm not gonna hit that bone. Right there will work. I'm gonna stick it in there. And this gives it some support so it doesn't fall apart, so I can cook this as a steak and I can leave that bone on there. That bone, that's really important because that's where you can get a lot of flavor from. So I got that bone on there, looking really good. I'll put one more right here and just kind of hold that together. And let me grab another one there. That's a defective toothpick there. So anyway, got that in there and getting them all together. So I got my steaks all set up. Now this is some seasoning I make. Basically salt, pepper, and some garlic powder. Every now and then I'll put a little MSG, but so I'll put a little salt now, and I've got one of these salt shakers that's electric. I like it because you can turn it all the way down to fine, and you can get a really fine grain if you want, or you can have coarse grain, whatever you want. I'll put a link in the description to that. I really like this. So it's battery powered. Take some batteries and a lot quicker. Now I'm put a little chicken stock in with my asparagus here, and what that's going to do is going to help steam this asparagus a little bit so it doesn't char in the beginning. And I like to add just a little bit of time, and I use chicken stock because it really adds to the flavor. Makes them really flavorful. I'm gonna keep turning them around here, and what I'm looking for is for them to get bright green. They're kind of like a yellowish green now. When they start to turn bright green, I'm gonna know they're almost done. And you know, the key to cooking these dinners is cooking everything just a little bit, and at the end, just finishing it off. Too many people try to cook everything and have it ready at the same time. That's really hard to do. So I'm just gonna get these cooked down a little bit so that color change. Now, I've got my sweet potato out of the oven, and I'm gonna go ahead and scrape it out right now while that asparagus is cooking. Put it in a little dish right here. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot, hot. All right, so I'm gonna get that down in that dish right there and scoop out all that I can, get all that goodness out of there. Some people like that peel. You know, you could chop up that peel and put it in there if you want. I decided not to. And this is such a good sweet potato, and it was so fresh that I'm gonna put a little bit of salt in here, and I'm gonna add some butter. I'm probably gonna put about 3 tablespoons in here or so of cold butter, and I'm just gonna mix it around, and that is gonna give me all the flavor I need. So let me grab me some butter. There's 1, okay, 2, and 3. What the heck? We'll go with 4 tablespoons of butter. Okay, that's a big spoon. Let's one more. Okay, there we go. 5. Okay, so we like a lot of butter on our sweet. Oh, all right, 1 more, 6. What the heck? Okay, so we've got just a little bit of butter. Whoops, it's already leaping out there. A little bit of butter on the sweet potato here. That's looking pretty darn good, and the heat alone will melt all this. And what I like to do is I like to get this thing all set up and done so that I can plate the meal all at once. So I'll mix all this up, I'll pop it back in the oven, just keep it warm. Got to get a little bite right there. Now we're gonna make some sauce. So I've got about 3 tablespoons of butter, equal amount of flour, and I'm gonna crush some garlic right now in there. And it's kind of like a roux, but not quite, because I'm gonna make a sauce. I'm gonna give this a quick squeeze, and I'll put the link to this little squeezer thing here with garlic. I love it. I don't have to chop it up this way, and I don't have any clumps of garlic in my food, which I don't mind in some foods, but in the sauce, you don't really want to bite into a bunch of garlic. Get this all scraped off right here. And this has got a cool little pad that helps you clean it on the other side. You just reverse the handle. So I'm gonna stir this over medium heat till it all melts down. And then I'm gonna oil up my steaks, get my steaks all ready. I've already got my grill turned on outside to high. You always wanna start a steak on high. Now I'm gonna sprinkle my seasoning all over it that I made. Get that all seasoned. Don't forget, season both sides, all the edges, everything. You really can't over season this because that's such a thick steak that it just takes that much. So I got it on the grill, and you notice I put it at a 45-degree angle. That way I remember how that steak was setting, because I want to get some nice grill marks there. So I've got that flame up nice and high. Start my wives a little bit early, and that's how you have one steak that's going to be medium well, and one steak that's going to be, you know, medium rare. And then I'm going to flip it at a 45-degree angle so I get those nice grill marks. Now's the time I'm going to stick my steak on there. So I got my steak there, and it's going to cook, obviously, a little bit less than hers. Hers is going to cook a little bit longer because she likes it a little bit more well cooked. See there, I've got those hash marks. See those hash marks? They look good, right? Turn that at a 45-degree angle and do it again. See, I've got those nice hash marks on there. That's what, you know, people eat with their eyes first. So that's what I'm trying to do there, make that steak look good. Ooh, look at that, makes you want it right now. Okay, got those flames licking up. Don't let those flames come up too much. A little bit doesn't hurt, too much is gonna burn the edge of your steak. You don't want a burned steak. So you wanna keep your eye on that. If it's coming up too much, you can always slide that steak down a little bit. It's looking good though. All right, so we're done. I'm gonna get it on our foil. I always use foil out on the barbecue grill. A couple of reasons. You don't need to dirty up another plate. If you put the foil in there, it keeps the heat in, and I'm gonna let these steaks rest for about 10 minutes indoors. And you can take the top of that foil and just grab it and bring it inside. So I got it inside. I'm gonna put a towel on it to keep it kind of warm. Let it rest there for about 10 minutes as I prepare the rest of my dinner here. Now I've got that asparagus that's about 80% cooked, so I'm gonna heat it up a little bit. Let me give me a bite. Hope nobody gets that bit one like I got. Oh no. Put a little bit of butter in it. A little bit of butter isn't gonna hurt. Okay, this meal's got butter in it in case you haven't noticed that. All right, got my sauteed onions now. I'll turn those back up. Get that asparagus on the plate here. I'll plate my wife's up first. There we go. Give her some good old asparagus there. Give her her steak and those sweet potatoes. Gotta get a little sauce now. Gotta get a little sauce. So let me go over and grab that sauce there. My sauce is done now. I added just a little bit of milk to it, stirred it up, and that's how I got my sauce. Okay, so there's hers, looking pretty good. Get that handed off to her. She wants a little bit more sauce. I've got to give her a little more sauce. She likes her some sauce. Okay, put my plate down there. Get my asparagus. Oh, there's that bit off one. You see it? You see it? I ended up with that one that was bit off. You remember that from earlier? So it's not so bad. I got that one. There's my little tiny steak there. Get me some sweet potatoes. That's all set up now. Oh yeah, my grilled onions. Now she doesn't like grilled onions. Lucky for me, I get more grilled onions. Makes it nicer for me. Get off of there. Get on that steak there. There we go. So you see we've got it nice and charred. We've got them looking good. Give me some sauce on my asparagus. That's a really simple sauce to do. It's just the butter, it's the garlic, and it's that milk that I put in there, and got it all stirred around. And there we go. There's my steak dinner looking good. Let's cut into this and see what we got. Oh my, oh my. Oh my, that looks good. Let me get me a bite. Nice and juicy. Nice and tender. Loving that. Grab me some of these nice sauteed sweet onions. Tasting good. And a little bit of sweet potato on top of that. Yeah, I'm feeling that. That tastes good. Okay, let's dig into this asparagus here with that nice sauce. And oh my God, that is some good cooking. Really loving this. Hope you give it a try, and I'll talk to you soon.